In this part of the introductory video recording of the strategic management process, we will be evaluating the characteristics of objectives. We will look at the benefits of having clear objectives. We'll also look at some examples of the types of strategies. We will briefly explain the concept of market penetration, market development, product development strategies. We will look at diversification as an effective business strategy. We'll also look at some guidelines for particular strategies like retrenchment, divestiture, liquidation, and we will also look at some of the means of achieving the various strategies mentioned above. Now, for the characteristics of objectives, all objectives should have at least these 8 characteristics, i.e., they should be quantitative, they should be measurable, they should be realistic, they should be understood by both parties, the objectives must be challenging enough, the objectives must have a hierarchical characteristics, it must be obtainable or reachable, and it must be congruent across the departments and contribute to the growth of the organization. Now, long-term objectives, as you are aware, are objectives which are more than a year, and these objectives provide direction for the organization. They allow for synergy to take place. They provide a platform for evaluation. Objectives also provide a means of prioritizing action, reduces uncertainty, especially in the minds of employees in the organization, helps to minimize conflicts, stimulates exertion in terms of the effort that is put into the achievement of these objectives, and it aids both in the allocation of resources and the design of jobs. Now, objectives can be basically put into 2 categories: financial objectives, which are more quantitative in nature. Okay, so they revolve over things like growth in revenue, growth in earnings, higher dividend, profit margins, etc. And then you also have strategic objectives, which are more qualitative in nature. For example, achieving a larger market share, okay, lower costs than rivals, okay, maybe achieve a wider geographic coverage, or achieve technological leadership. Now, in terms of strategies, there can be different types of strategies in the organization, and these strategies must be combined, okay, combined in such a manner that it will help the organization grow as a whole. Now, I've listed down here in a form of a table taken from the reference textbook, table 4.4, on the different strategies that the organizations may pursue, some of which we will go through shortly, together with the definitions of these strategies and some examples for you to take note. Okay, so for example, if you are looking at related diversification, a definition will be adding new or related products or services. And the example given here is Facebook's acquirement of the text messaging firm WhatsApp for $19 billion US. Now, in terms of strategies, strategies may be divided into several levels. So at the bottom, you have the operational level. Then you move up to the functional level, the divisional level, and the corporate level. So from this diagram, you basically can see that it all depends on the size of the organization. Larger organizations should have more levels compared to smaller organizations. But the nature of the decisions, okay, are more or less the same. For example, at the operational level, the decisions are mainly on operational issues, day-to-day issues, week-to-week issues. At the functional level, you will have decisions across different functions like finance, marketing, R&D. And then if there is a divisional level, the decisions are mainly at different divisions of the organization, or certain organizations may be divided into branches. So you have your branch managers or your divisional managers taking charge of decisions. And at the corporate level, you have the chief executive officer or the owner or the president of the organization making the decision as the head of the board of directors. Now, some of the strategies that I provided in the listing earlier include forward integration, which involves gaining ownership or increasing control over distributors or retailers. So you are looking at the supply chain. And then backward integration will be strategies of seeking ownership or increase control of a firm's own suppliers. Horizontal integration deals with seeking ownership or increasing control over the firm's competitors. Market penetration strategy seeks to increase market share for present products or services in the present market, okay, through greater marketing effort. Market development could mean introducing present products or services into new geographic areas. For example, a company that is functioning in Malaysia may look at going into China, for example, or moving into Taiwan. That's called market development. But it basically deals with their present products or services. Product development, on the other hand, seeks to increase sales by improving or modifying present products or services. Now, in terms of diversification, can be either related diversification, where you're looking at the value chains possess competitively valuable cross-business strategic fits, or unrelated diversification, value chains are so dissimilar that no competitively valuable cross-business relationship can exist. Now, there are also certain defensive strategies that firms can take, and we have seen this today due to the present environment that many businesses are faced with. For example, retrenchment, where organizations come out with plans to let go of some of their staff so that they can align their costs, okay, better to cater for the needs of the present environment. Or they may want to divestiture, i.e. they may want to sell off a division or part of the organization, or they may want to liquidate certain parts of the organization, maybe close down certain branches, or maybe realign their organization by closing down certain divisions. Now, how do organizations achieve strategies? We've briefly seen some of these strategies. So these strategies can be achieved through cooperation among competitors, going into joint ventures or partnering, maybe through mergers and acquisitions, private equity acquisition, first mover advantage, outsourcing, or reshoring. Okay, and here is just a list of benefits a firm can enjoy by being a first mover. For example, secure access and commitments to rare resources, gain new knowledge of critical success factors and issues, gain market share and position in the best locations. For example, a lot of companies are setting up their head office in Singapore. The reason is because they want to penetrate the Southeast Asian market, which is very attractive at the current moment. Okay, or they want to establish and secure long-term relationships with customers, suppliers, distributors, and investors in this region. Okay, gain customer loyalty and commitment. So we have now covered 4 parts of the introductory lecture. And in the first part, we attempted to define the strategic management process and explain the different stages involved. Part 2, we looked at the benefits and the pitfalls of engaging in strategic management process. Part 3, we focused on the global issues and ethical issues. And part 4, we briefly described some of the strategies that firms may pursue. So we have come to the end of part 4 now.